In August 2017, life itself brought together 7 very different people with a task to explore an ever-changing, ever-evolving discussion, spirituality. More and more people in the West are turning their attention to otherworldly ideas and claiming they are able to communicate with the intangible. A vastly emerging type of mediumship is channeling, a way of allowing other energies and even entities to come through your body into this world. Connecting directly to higher realms of our existence is nothing controversial for many of the Eastern philosophies, yet in the West it still holds as a controversial idea. In the second part of the 20th century, different kinds of mediums started appearing in alternative communities. And now in the 21st century, thanks to the possibilities given by our own communication technologies, these practices and philosophies have been thriving more and more.
What do I think about channeling? Honestly, I don't think it's possible. It's the first time when I heard yesterday about this, and to be honest, I'm quite skeptical. But at the same time, I'm curious about the trip in the mountains, and let's see what will happen.
I think I know that channeling is real, I believe it, and I'm really excited to see how they will do it.
So I heard for the first time about channeling 2 days ago, actually yesterday, and I'm pretty skeptic about it because it feels like something so unrealistic. And I do believe in spirituality and in the existence of energy or all kinds of energies, but I'm not sure how you can allow other energies to come into your body. So I'm really excited to try out this new experience, and I hope I will change my mind, but I'm really quite sure I won't.
Não sei bem sobre o que vamos falar e o que vamos fazer. Tenho uma ideia, mais ou menos, mas nada de mais, e quero esperar para ver o que se vai passar.
The first time I stumbled upon channeling was a bit more than a year ago, and of course it was difficult to believe at first, but I gave it a chance. I stayed open to it, and eventually just proved itself, and it's taken over my life quite a bit, all the information that's coming through, and there's an infinite amount more to come.
Yeah, so that's something that's been a part of my life, well, since ever, actually. But I don't know, I was always kind of skeptical about it, but still believed that there is something more about it.
Well, I'm quite skeptical, but know what? If you don't try to do this, you will never know if it's true or not. So I want to do this travel, and I think I can discover too much. So let's go.
We decided to meet up with someone who could tell us more about it, a group of youngsters who do healing therapies with channeled energy.
For me, it's like the first thing a person needs to realize or kind of open up to and make conscious is that they're already being channels for themselves. Their body is a channel for themselves. So what could work really well, especially for beginners, is that, you know, they find like some creative expression of themselves. It could be drawing, writing, making movies, whatever, in which they have some skill. And while they're doing that, they're gonna start channeling anyway when they're aware that they're being channels for themselves.
Okay, I use channeling for healing, that too, but for questions, you just get yourself in that state without thoughts and just ask a question and wait the answer to come to you. And that's basically it. It's really simple.
One way of explaining it a bit easier is like we are like a wire for the electricity, and we are just channeling the energy for healing or information for answering the questions that we get.
Maybe first of all they really need to trust that they'll get the answer, and like again with the process, like you have to have clear mind without any thoughts. So this energy healing that I do specifically, I just channel energy. So I have a channel above me, I mean everybody has it, so I just pull the energy down and I put it in my hands and put it in a person, whenever or wherever it's needed.
Well, I do my energy therapy with a person also, like just scan it from the head and I feel through me in which part of the body needs more attention. So then I just let the flow come through me, and whatever the person needs, that's what goes to the person.
Well, my thing is massage. Well, that's pretty obvious to most people, I guess. So with that I work with the physical body, and while I'm massaging I'm also using my own energy and channeled energy to work with the emotional body of the person and to balance the two. Actually, the last one feels kind of impossible to me. I mean, it feels impossible to me. I'm not saying it is impossible. I'm just like it doesn't feel like anything can take me over because I have my own free will and I can I allow you, this far inside me. But you have to actually, I guess, then relinquish your own free will of your free will. But to me, it's more or less like just kind of communicating with the source, like sending intention out, maybe asking a question, having some words around it, and being open to it that whatever's gonna come through me, it's gonna be the thing I need, the message I need to receive, and I don't really care that much what kind of entity that is, because it's up to me how much I allow it inside me, and like what messages I'm open to receive from it. And so like my intention for the message is actually something that would benefit me and the people around me. I don't have to worry about nothing taking me over.
We understood that in order to channel, we need to open up our minds and hearts. And what better place to do that if not in the mountains? Okay, for this hike, we can set the intention, which would be the most important thing, and that is to open up ourselves to whatever is to come with the experience with the guys we're meeting again tomorrow. And this hike can also be as a symbolic journey inside each of us individually. So the most important tool we can use is our imagination, and we can imagine that in the mountaintop where we are going, we're going to face things that need to be faced, that are blocking our process of opening up. But through this hike we can overcome that and be open to the worlds beyond that we can meet tomorrow. where we are supposed to be. We just have to see where it's taking us. So observe the world around you. Observe the world within you. And everything becomes clear. You're seeing it for what it is. A process of life, living itself, breathing itself, understanding itself. The mountains left us filled with energy. Also, the peace and presence gave us a glimpse of what this space between thoughts really means. So we felt open enough to try out channeling ourselves. We decided to look into what is known as the Akashic Records, an infinite library of what is, what has been, and what will be.
So for accessing Akashic Records, you don't have to be anything special or have, I don't know what kind of connections like other spiritual teachers says. It's just channeling. So every information that you want to know, you can imagine it that you're writing it down and like maybe put it in a balloon and just send it to the universe. Just let it fly up. So when you do that, you don't have to do anything more. You don't even have to think, you just tell the universe that you're ready to receive the answer and just go with that place without thoughts and just wait for the answer. And don't try to guess it, let it come on its own. It can come as a symbol, as whatever is closer to things. So everything is okay, whatever you get. That's your answer. You really have to have total trust in the universe that it will give you your answer. It always comes down.
How do I feel about the channeling after the experience? I, to be honest, remain skeptical. I tried the whole thing, or at least they tried it on me, and I wouldn't say that I felt anything. But it was nice talking to them afterwards, and I would love to try to understand more what they do. For me, this is still something that remains a closed chapter. I'm sorry, I guess I lack the senses of getting it.
So, after trying actually channeling, my idea hasn't changed much. I felt really relaxed actually, but I think it was more about the idea of being with my eyes closed and in a comfortable position, but I still don't believe much about this kind of practice. Anyways, I hope in the future I will still meet people that will tell me more about it.
During those days, I felt something, I don't know what, but it was something. And I enjoyed too much to meet these people. But the most important thing is that while I was meditating, I felt happy.
Eu realmente gostei bastante da experiência, foi uma experiência única, não estava à espera de certas coisas, mas adorei. Gostei muito das pessoas, todas as que vimos de novo, e mesmo as pessoas do nosso grupo. Foi uma experiência muito boa e diferente e pronto, é isso. Mas gostei muito do tempo que passei a experimentar espiritualidade.
Those days was a journey closer to myself, and I just understood that all the answers is already at our hearts. We just need to feel them.
Yeah, after this, well, I've known those people before, so it basically hasn't changed my mind any little bit, but yeah, like always, I'm trying to find some scientific evidence for all of these things. And there may be some that I just don't know yet, but yeah, someday I will maybe know.
Yeah, after this I just realized that channeling is a lot closer to everybody than we would ever think. It's what we do naturally. It just depends if we listen to ourselves or not, and if we try to understand our own thoughts, our own processes in our consciousness. And of course for most people it's like very, very different, but everybody does it anyway, so just, yeah, all that's left is to pay attention and see who you are.